been looking at the ground, but I ain't getting any higher.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for downloading the Voice of Bedlam podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We got a great show planned out for you guys today. We got a special guest coming on, Corey Pierce of God Forbid, drummer. He's going to come on, hang out with us for a little bit, pre-recorded the interview. Definitely going to get a little explicit in the interview.
A little explicit.
A little bit. But had a lot of fun talking about football and his music project. But John, let's introduce you. How you doing, Devil John?
Doing wonderful. You know, as you just mentioned, you know, we got to talk to a good friend of mine, Corey, which, you know, over the years, you know, I got lucky enough to become a friend of his. And, man, I never heard that Guar story that he's going to share with you guys. And, yeah, for our listeners that are not of adult age, you might want to just stop listening.
All right, but let's get things
just for this episode
moving on over and talk about some of the sponsors for this week. Let's get things rolling with FanUpNetwork.com. It's fantasy football time, so pay attention to the next three words: FanUp Network. The groundbreaking app allows you to view all your teams, give you player updates, injury news, and advice from fantasy experts. That's right, everything you need properly manageable for your team, all in one place. The FanUp Network. Get the app now by visiting FanUpNetwork.com or search FanUp in your app store. Streamline the process and gain the edge. FanUpNetwork.com. Now, this week we are also sponsored by The Hangover Couch. Now, this is just a few guys talking about the important things in life, like sports, fantasy football, beer, sports, girls, and more beer.
Chicks,
so
dude.
This is awesome. Make sure you guys head over to hangovercouch.com. Check him out on Twitter and Instagram at Hangover Couch. So, I mean, we're going to dive in. We got preseason kicking off tonight, and let's get it rolling with today's Daily Breakdown. All right, now tonight's slate of games. We're not really going to get into the Redskins-Falcons game. We're going to save talking about the Redskins for Corey Pierce of God Forbid. But also on tonight's slate, we got the Carolina Panthers, John's boys, traveling to Baltimore, 7:30 p.m. Game is already underway. We also have the Patriots have started against the Saints in Foxborough and Jacksonville at MetLife Stadium playing the New York Jets. Football is here and it is not canceled.
Yeah, just well. Do you want to discuss some scores real quick since we're discussing? All right.
Scores.
So right now in the third quarter, with 14 minutes and 47 seconds left in the Washington-Atlanta game, Atlanta's up 20-3. Philadelphia is up 14-6 at halftime. Carolina is up 10-7 in the second quarter with 1:56 left. In the New Orleans and New England game, New Orleans has 16, New England has 14, and there's 6 minutes and 46 left.
Now Garoppolo really going to be forced into the spotlight here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I'm a Patriots fan, don't get me mad. Don't get me wrong, I'm mad, but I'm excited. I have to know what is Jimmy Garoppolo capable of, and we're really going to see. Can you see if you can get any live stats going?
Yeah, I'll get some live stats going, but you know, there should be no coincidence of why the NFL Network picked it up as the only coverage.
Yeah, now a lot of the games you really got to get the Game Pass if you want to see preseason.
Correct.
Now, but you got to NFL Network is televising like one game a night. Tonight it is Jimmy Garoppolo and the Patriots hosting the New Orleans Saints. Now, remember, like I said, you guys can order up the what is it called? The Game Pass, and you guys can get that from DirecTV with your NFL Sunday Ticket Max package if you guys call 855-668-9061. Call DirecTV today at that number. Get your free installation for NFL Game Pass and NFL Sunday Ticket, plus all your local channels. You can get HBO, Stars, Cinemax, pretty much everything you can think of. Call up DirecTV today for your free installation and quote at 855-668-9061.
So you asked me for Jimmy's stats, correct?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
All right. So he has 14 attempts. He's completed 9, and he's for 146 yards, no TDs and no INTs.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I guess not. So
It's
he
not
also
terrible.
he
Like, it's
also
not great,
ran
it's
the
not
ball
good.
once for 4 yards.
All right, so he had a little scramble out there. Now let's really look at the Patriots here. I mean, like, we already jumped into their first 4 games, and John, you seem to think they were going to go 2-2. I was seeing optimistically maybe they could go 3-1, but let's really look at the AFC East here. Is anybody really going to capitalize? The Jets are also playing tonight against the Jaguars. Is anybody going to capitalize and really challenge New England for the division while they are handicapped? I mean, basically every AFC East team has a power play right now.
Yes.
With the exception of the Pats themselves.
Yeah, right now, they're, maybe I'm looking too far into the preseason, but the New England Patriots are going up against the Saints, who had the worst defense. Okay, and it's 16-17 right now. It's a tight game. I understand that we're talking about third and fourth string players that are fighting to get on the team when you get towards like the third and fourth quarter. But those first few quarters are people that you're going to see on that playing field come season time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you guys want to go into Tuesday's episode, we kind of previewed the whole preseason week 1. We're not really going to go over all that stuff. Again, we got a nice little clip of Corey Pierce from God Forbid to come in for you guys. We went up for a pretty long time with Corey. I'd say about 35 minutes.
It was quite a bit of time and quite a bit of time of editing for your ears. So
yeah, thanks, Corey. Thanks.
Yeah, but to be I guess generous and quite blunt, I did not specify that we were trying to keep it somewhat PG-13.
That's not important.
Plus, not only that, you can't go and talk about Dave Brocky and walk away with PG-13 clean ears. I'm sorry.
All right, well,
so we do apologize. Rest in peace for Dave Brocky.
Let's keep things moving and with today's daily breakdown and talk about Stevie Johnson of the San Diego Chargers being moved to IR. The team confirmed today. The team confirmed today that Stevie Johnson has torn his meniscus and will not play this season in order to repair it. James Jones was picked up James Jones of the Green Bay Packers formerly was picked up to fill his spot for the season. What are the options for this 30-year-old wideout going into next season, John?
Well, he's got 1 year, I believe, left. 1 year left on his contract there, but he's going to be 30 years old. He's 30 years old right now, so he's going to be 31, and he's coming back from a meniscus tear. Unfortunately, this is the part in his career where he's going to start. This is the plateau. This is the climax. This is the apex in a sense.
Well, I think he's
you think he's over the hill? You think he's over the apex?
Well, now with this injury.
Now with this injury,
when he comes back, yeah.
So honestly, I could see him being picked up.
He's only had 3 touchdowns for the past 3 years, like 9, but 3 each year with 34 touchdowns total. His biggest number coming in 2010
but
with
that's
the Bills
coming from three different quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
3 different quarterbacks, 2 different teams.
And and we
Bills, Niners, Chargers.
And as you know, chemistry means everything when it comes to delivering a ball to somebody. It's like you have to know a player's tendencies. You have to know if he's gonna make that quick cut right. You're gonna know that he's gonna make a quick jump to the left, and you're gonna be able to lead him correctly.
Yeah, but see, Keenan Allen and perhaps free agent acquisition Travis Benjamin, they really seem like they'd be holding the team, the number 1s and the number 2s. Now, Travis Benjamin played his entire career with the Cleveland Browns, being drafted in 2012, having 68 receptions, 966 yards, and 5 touchdowns last year. Keenan Allen, on the other hand, almost the same with receptions, a little less in yards, 67 receptions, 725 yards, and 4 touchdowns with one of the worst seasons Chargers fans have had to witness in a long time. Now, the Chargers having a lot of trouble getting Bosa signed. A lot of people are saying, I saw some article today, I'm not going to quote it, but just an idea out there I saw on Twitter that he should get traded to the Browns. That is a terrible idea. They are arguing over the structure of the contract, how much money is guaranteed and when. But they do need to get this straightened out. This is their number 1 draft pick. Ohio State had 3 people go in the first round. Joey Bosa, what number 3 or 4 overall?
Yes, number 3.
Number 3. Jalen Ramsey going number 4. Ezekiel Elliott going at number 5, being the second Ohio State. Eli Apple going to the Giants, cornerback for the 3rd Ohio State player in the top 10. The Chargers really got to pull this together. I mean, last year they gave Phillip Rivers a new extension, just like Big Ben and Eli when they all came in together. He got the latter of the 3, but still a nice size deal.
Do you trust his arm?
No, I don't. I think that was a wasted deal. I think that I think you could swap Eli and Big Ben, and I think Eli could have won a Super Bowl with the Steelers, and I think Big Ben could have won a Super Bowl with the Giants. Okay. But I don't think if Phillip Rivers was on either of those 2 teams, either one of them would have won a Super Bowl.
Wow. Well, honestly, I think that Travis Benjamin is going to be the guy that emerges as their number 1 go-to guy there. Keenan Allen, amazing player, but a lot of people will already double team him, so that would mean that Travis Benjamin, in retrospect, will be the number 2 looked at guy, but when it comes to targets and pulling in those yards, he's going to be that guy. He's going to be number 1 with the stats.
Absolutely. But let's take a quick second here and tell you guys, if you want to catch any of this live action, if you want to see Travis Benjamin pulling in some touchdowns from Phillip Rivers, you guys have got to get a hold of Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454. That's Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454. Get tickets to 83,000 live worldwide events. You can get soccer tickets, opera tickets, ballet tickets, any kind of live event. You guys can get tickets from Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454. Now, let's work in here today's article spotlight.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk a little Rio. New author writing for Voice of Bedlam, Justin Kimbrough, published his first article for the site titled U.S. Track and Field Teams Prepare for Rio. Now, basically, this Friday, August 12th, the track and field event kicks off in 2016 Rio Olympic Games. The United States Olympic Track and Field Team, which has adopted the motto, the hardest team to make, comes well prepared since concluding their trials last month in Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, the United States track and field team consists of several returning gold medalists and as well as world record holding athletes, including this mix of 2012 gold medalist decathlete Ashton Eaton, who broke the world record in the 10 event competition first during the 2012 United States Olympic Trials, and then again during the 2015 IAAF World Championships. So they will compete. He will compete in his second Summer Games. So the first being London, and now Rio, and now with the hopes of retaining his title as the world's greatest athlete.
Now, in the article up at voiceofbedlam.com, written by Justin Kimbrough, he goes on to say another athlete favored to win in Rio is sprinter Alyssa Felix. Felix, who won team's gold in the 2008 4x400 and the 2012 4x100, as well as the 4x400 the same year in the relays. Now, they will be competing they did compete in the 2012 gold medal event for 200 meters, but she will instead this year be competing in the 400-meter event, and she won it back in 2015 with the IAAF IAAF World Champions in Beijing.
Yeah, that's Jamaica and a lot of the islands. They and Kenya, they have great marathon runners and things. So, the United States, we reap the benefits of being a melting pot because we get the best of all worlds in a sense when it comes to athletics. And when it comes to Olympic time, it's a great time for me because it's instead of aggressing with warfare, we're out there aggressing on sports planes, and we're competing with integrity and also respect, and every country gets the equal common respect on the playing field, which Olympic time it gives you a little more hope for humanity at least.
All right, now let's take care of a little bit more business here and remind you guys about United Sports app. Now, this is going to launch in a little bit over a month. It's going to be a huge new fantasy, and not really a fantasy app, huge new sports app. It's made from the creators of Madden, NCAA football, and NASCAR. You guys have got to check this out. It's going to be available in the Play Store and the Apple Store, Google Play, yes, and the Apple Store as well. Yep. But you guys can get your free invite code now and possibly try out the beta version of the game if you guys email staff@voiceofbedlam.com. Email us and say, give me my invite code. You guys can sign up free and be part of this groundbreaking new app. Now, this thing is going to be all off the walls. We have a bunch of information we can send you about it if you'd like, but make sure you get your invite code and get ready for this NFL season. There's going to be great prize giveaways through this. We're talking clothes, we're talking jerseys, hats, autograph, game tickets, and even a new car.
Speaking of, did you know that August 20th and August 21st, the planets are going to be aligning and that you can see it with your naked eye? So that could only mean one thing. The Voice of Bedlam podcast is going to be live at Mother's on August 20th. So you can come out, drink with us, draft your fantasy football team, and then you can stand outside and we can look at the planets aligned. All right? That's divine intervention, people. All right?
Now remember, Bedlam's Fantasy is presented by DraftKit.com. DraftKit hooked us up with this sweet Bedlam's Fantasy trophy and a nice draft board and a bunch of labels for it. We're going to use at Mother's on August 20th while the planets are aligned, doing the draft there. Also going to do a live show from there. Make sure you guys come out, check it out, maybe even have a chance to be on the Voice of Bedlam contest and compete for the trophy. You got to get down to Mother's August 20th, and remember, it's all brought to you by DraftKit.com.
Yeah, people, we're adults. Stop going to the toy aisle and defacing a toy and calling it a championship belt, okay? Get up with the pros and hit up Draft Kits and get hooked up and take your fantasy league seriously to the next level.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, now we're going to bring on Corey Pierce, drummer of God Forbid. Corey, thanks for hanging out with us, man. How you doing today?
Thank you much.
I'm doing pretty good, man. I just came from a boneless wing special at the local pub and doing some business, actually. So I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a pretty productive day for the most part.
Yeah, I hear you're a big barbecue guy, John tells me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty well known. Me and my partner, Matt Griller, do a lot of barbecuing, man, but, I mean, it's pretty constant, and we're always pushing limits. I mean, we got an open pit here. We got a regular standard charcoal grill here. We also have a smoker that's built out of an oven that he made about a year or so ago. So, yeah, we do a lot of barbecuing here. It's not a joke here. It's not a game.
It is not a game.
Yeah, the grilling gets mad.
Now, Corey Pierce, I mean, we got Corey Pierce on the line, and like I said, you were the drummer in God Forbid. Now, we're going to get into some maybe some stories about you touring or some musicians or venues you played, but you're also a diehard Redskins fan, and that's the real reason we got you on here tonight. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a diehard Giants fan. bleed blue till I die. All right, but the Redskins are lacing up tonight, preseason action against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know it's preseason week 1. How much time you think Kirk Cousins is we're gonna see out of Kirk Cousins tonight, Corey?
I mean, honestly, you can never tell how much time you're going to get with him in preseason because I think they'd like to get him out there and let him. This year, they actually have a chance to detail the offense around him, as opposed to where it was kind of like the defense was geared towards RG3, and then things had to kind of turn around, and you have to watch video and then figure out how you're going to approach different defenses and change O-line fucking jobs around and all that. Like this year, I think like people understand that, first of all, that dude is a freaking workhorse. You know what I mean? That dude can take a beating for not a big dude in the sense of the game these days. You know what I mean? And I think that he's actually very poised. Like, he's not the most mobile quarterback in the world, but that's not his game. You know what I mean? And I think they understand that, and they did a lot of work on his footwork, I'm sure, in the off season and spring training and everything, trying to work him out and get his footwork going. But he can throw the ball, man, and he doesn't panic, and that's something that they needed. I think the only quality that he didn't really have previous, say, to now, is they needed a leader, kind of somebody who is more of a leadership role, and I think he's more prepared to accept that now, where in the past he's kind of just been thrust into positions.
He's earned it a little bit more now. He is a veteran.
He absolutely has, man. He came off with some really even productive losses last year, like losses he took. He was still productive, and he fought down to the end. So I don't think people should really not be talking shit on Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, see, I remember when the two were drafted, and shocking everybody, trading all those picks to move up, draft RG3, and then with they have 3 remaining picks, they draft Kirk Cousins with a 4th round pick. Now, I remember seeing them in preseason, and I'm not a fan of mobile quarterbacks. I'm never going to vote for a mobile quarterback. I'm never really not a mobile quarterback for a running quarterback. I want a mobile quarterback, but a running quarterback is something different to me. A mobile quarterback is just step 2 steps left, step 2 steps right. You know what I mean? Lower the shoulder.
They're good in the pocket, and they have good footwork.
Exactly. I could see Kirk Cousins being like that. RG3. I always said I thought Kirk Cousins was more of a long-term answer than RG3 was since they were drafted.
RG3 was more of a leader kind of role because he was that's what he was used to. You know what I mean? He was used to leading a team, and he had sort of that star quality that necessarily Kirk Cousins isn't exactly he's not a superstar. Yeah. He's just a hard-working ass dude. You know what I mean? Which I think, in many ways, is better for that team than having, a superstar at the forefront. They need unity. They don't need, a one-man game, because that's not going to work for them. It just won't. Let's be honest. It just won't. And I mean, as much as they tried to get it to work, they're not an explosive team like that exactly.
Now, how worried are you about the aging wide receivers?
I mean, I'm not that worried because here's the thing. The aging wide receivers have aged generally pretty well. And also, it's their knowledge of the game that comes with that age is going to make them make smarter plays. And that's what the Redskins need. They don't need necessarily the most explosive plays. I mean, it'd be great if it happened, and they do happen occasionally, but they just need to make smarter plays all the way around the field. And I think that we can all agree upon that. It's just, there's been too many, really dumb mistakes and leaks on both sides of the line, especially the defensive side last year. There was a lot of leaks to where, you got receivers and short post receivers getting open. And who the hell wants to see that? I don't want to see that shit.
Now, you got a guy on your side of the ball, Deshaun Jackson. He's given a lot of teams some nightmares on some deep post routes. So you guys aren't exactly unarmed over there.
He is an explosive player, but he's also, I'm hoping that he's gotten wiser from being there.
Yeah, you really want them to emphasize on the fundamentals, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs to stop. Every play does not have to be the headline, the highlight reel. And that's what I think the problem is with him, is that he is trying to make the highlight reel on every freaking play. And it's like, that's not what helps the team the most. What helps the team the most is you being consistent and doing your job. And let's just say, in a lot of blocking assignments and stuff like that, he was not doing his job.
Isn't that RG3 as well, though? Wasn't he always looking for the highlight reel play instead of looking for the smart play?
I mean, I think he was, but he also felt like he had to. You know what I mean? There was so much pressure and so much hype put on the dude. Like, what else is he going to do? He almost feels like every play absolutely has to be, on a highlight reel, or, he's not living up to expectations. And then everybody, of course, is shit-talking him right after the game. Even if they won, it's like, well, RG3 didn't do this, and RG3 didn't do that. And I think, part of that is what caused him to get injured in the first place, because they kept him in a game where he didn't need to be in the game. You should have yanked his ass before that shit happened, because he was already getting beat up, and now you forced him in a situation. Then he got injured. Then he lost his confidence, and that affected his mobility, which was one of his key factors. And he started to get better at being mobile and throwing the ball, not just running, but being mobile and throwing the ball. There's a big difference.
Yes, absolutely. What do you guys over there?
Yeah, now switching it to the other side of the ball, you got an addition that left my team with some sad face on my face, at least. Mr. Josh Norman. Do you think he's going to have the same success that he did in Carolina, given the strength of your front seven?
Well, I mean, I don't know that he's going to have the same strength, because he's coming over to a team, and I don't know if it's very rare where you get like immediate chemistry when somebody comes into a team. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, boom, and the vibe is there, and the productivity is there. So, I mean, that's something that's really hard to judge, because you can take an explosive player or a really great player and put them in a situation where the system they're not used to the system, and they may understand it, but they're not operating on that same set of instincts and that programming to where they can deliver at the same level of intensity. So, I mean, that's what you're going to be looking to see, how he adapts to moving into their system, and the chemistry between him and the rest of the line. That always makes a big defense, because a lot of defense is two things. It's intensity, and it's instinct. They have to have that instinct for the ball and the instinct for the other dudes, the way they play on their line. If you don't have that kind of connection, which most people, are not going to have initially when they get into a system, and may never have, depending on how well they adapt to the system they've been, kind of put in after a trade. There's so many factors involved. How he relates to the defensive coaching there, how he relates to the other players, and how he fits into the system. So they're not going to change the whole system just because he came there.
Now that
you know what I mean?
Now that you guys inherit him, you also get to inherit rounds 2 and 3 of the epic OBJ versus Norman.
Yeah, that would be an
clash.
Interesting battle.
What do you see the record of the rounds 2 and 3 turning out to be?
I'm hoping that it's all about the physical game, because OBJ, people need to start hitting that dude hard.
I mean, I remember them hitting him hard after the whistle in the St. Louis game. That turned into 5 people getting ejected.
I mean, that was later. You know what? People started hitting him hard later, and they started, double teaming him on and stuff like that. Which
you mean hitting him being physical at the line? You mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I thought you meant illegal.
No.
Yeah.
You gotta break him from the start. You can't let him get ahead of steam and start moving around, because first of all, he's just too fast.
Correct.
You know what I mean? To where it's like, once that body starts moving, and he starts he's not like a downhill runner or a guy that's just going to run, quick post shuck and jives and then shoot down the field. That's not what he does.
He plays on the outside with the big boys too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's all over the map. But I mean, a lot of those guys that you have that are going to be, manning up against him, he usually has like that pterodactyl arm span. The difference is that he has a ridiculous vertical, and he's got hands the size of baseball gloves. So, it makes it hard, especially when they're throwing the ball over the defender, a good 2 or 3 feet, and then him being able to have the vertical that he does, not the tallest guy in the world, and having, a ridiculous hand size, so where it's hard, it's almost hard for him to drop a football. So what you got to do is break his momentum in the beginning and then let him try to gather himself. And by that time, they can stay on him a little bit better and defend, But it doesn't happen a lot. Like, he breaks, if you look at the plays, he breaks loose pretty early. Like, he'll throw a little footwork in the beginning, a little juke here or there. And then he's like, once he's out, he just keeps moving. And it's like, you got to stop that from the start. You know what I mean? That's like cancer. You got to stop that shit out as soon as you find out. You know what I mean? Don't wait,
I hate to admit it, but yeah, I would agree. Odell Beckham is slightly undersized. I would think strategically, if you were to get physical with him at the line of scrimmage, get in his head a little bit, not let him go through the routes, that would be the kryptonite, but not too many people have been able to do it.
He punched the heck out of that water cooler.
Yeah, but not too many people have been able to beat him on the field, per se.
Yeah.
It's also, you got to break his energy. You got to make him struggle in the beginning, so that he starts to wear down. You know what I mean? You got to start wearing him down.
But let's take a quick second here, and we're going to change directions, but let's take a quick second and talk about Bedlam's Fantasy, presented by DraftKit.com. Now, Bedlam's Fantasy is the show's official fantasy league, and now we're going to start maybe getting into some fantasy questions for
Okay,
Corey.
I'm going to hold you up right there, because Corey does not do fantasy football. I'm going to tell you why. Because, one, I just don't have the time for that shit, man. I'm spinning too many plates as it is. I'm happy enough just to be able to catch the games and catch a little, sports center. I don't have time. I don't have the time. Like, I know I got plenty of friends that play fantasy football, and let me just tell you, that's a lifestyle, okay? That's a lifestyle. That's not for fun. That's not just for fun. That's a lifestyle. People are in that shit for real. Like, that, I don't have that kind of time. You know what I mean? I would love, I'm sure if I had the time to do it, I'd totally be into it. So I know very little about fantasy football. Like, I've never just had the time to get into it and, like, follow all the trades and everybody getting together, in fantasy football leagues and all that shit. I have no idea what's going on.
We're having a nice little party at Mother's Bar and Grill in Easton at the Circle, August 20th, where we're doing a live draft. But if you have a similar opinion to Corey, we're having it at Mother's. So it's just going to be a general, fun, little party, kicking around. We're doing the show live from there. Going to have people coming live on the show, talk about things. This is all going down August 20th at Mother's, all part of Bedlam's Fantasy.
So, quick question then, Corey. Sticking with the Redskins and also adding in the music aspect here. You guys toured with Gwar,
Virginia,
and the late Dave Brocky was also a Redskins fan.
Odorous Youngus.
So,
yes, he was.
So do you have a specific story that you would like to share where you guys shared?
There wasn't too much bonding over the Redskins because honestly, most of the time we did touring with them. There was one point at which we were touring during football season, so we watched a couple games together. But the tour was really long. That tour was almost 2 months long. I think it was 47 shows or some shit like that.
What year was this?
That was, I want to say, 2008, somewhere around there. 2007, 2008. Because we did I think it was either 3 weeks or close to a month with Hatebreed, and we immediately went from that tour and jumped right on the Guar tour with them and Goat Whore for 7.5 weeks and some change, almost 2 months.
Now, see, my wife is obsessed with Dave Brocky and Guar. She loved him. You gotta have to tell me a nice little cool story, behind the scenes story you got about Dave Brocky from Guar, the late Dave.
Well, I mean, I have several stories. I don't know if I can talk about
ones that are clean enough. Ones that are clean enough.
I can tell you that. Okay, here's a pretty funny story. So, we were actually playing in Minnesota at First Avenue, where they shot Purple Rain and all that shit.
Yeah.
We were playing in Minnesota, and this is the crazy thing. So, we, after their set, after Guar's set, or whatever, a bunch of us are hanging out. There's it's a bar. They open the bar up after the show, and it goes on till, whenever they close. And I go upstairs, there's a downstairs where the stage is, and sort of collateral area, and then there's a stairwell kind of in the middle of the room, and it leads to a little upstairs area with different tables and different sections. And I go upstairs, and I look over, and I see Brocky. He's like, come over here. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go hang out, have some drinks with Brocky, and see what's going on. Now, I get closer, and I realize, man, there is a lot of over here, really kind of hot, slutty looking girls. And you're like, what the hell is going on, man? What's Rocky got going on? And I look to the left of them, and I hear this voice, and I recognize the voice, and I'm like, who this guy would he hang out with? And it turns out to be Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Oh. Yeah, I heard some things about Screech. I don't know if they're true, but
it's a porn star, yeah.
Oh, no.
No, did he stand that guy?
It is absolutely true. It is absolutely true.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. No, let me tell you what happened. So they were actually friends. Okay. So Screech, if you didn't know, got into the. So Screech rolled up into the show with a bunch of, and him and Broccoli were hanging out. There's a bunch of these, Now, I mean, I don't know exactly what was going on up there, but there was some weird things happening up in the First Avenue that night.
Well, we got to keep
what I'm saying?
We got to keep it
I mean, there's some things I ain't going to discuss, but I saw some stuff. I was environmentally raped. I'm going to put it to you like that.
So you just had fun running around with Brocky a lot then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I spent some time. I mean, I think everybody from the band was really cool. So it's you kind of hung out. Everybody sort of hung out. There's a lot of mingling of all kinds from night to night, from one person to the next, and in different groups, and just depending on what you were doing that night. But it was always a very friendly. They treated us very well. We never had any kind of ego problems or any kind of headlining band tour shit going on with them or anything like that. They never was shitty to us, or if anything, they were always really nice to us. They always tried to help us out as best they could. And I mean, obviously they had a huge production situation, so in certain places, certain venues, it was just difficult to accommodate us in certain situations in certain ways.
Did you ever help them sacrifice anything on stage? Did you ever help them sacrifice anything on stage?
On stage, we ran a pretty basic show at that point on stage. I mean, we were pretty bare bones at that stage in the game, but I mean, the only thing we sacrificed was space.
No, I meant with War, though. I mean, they're infamous for having their tied up mannequins and ripping them to shreds on stage.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of props and a lot of stuff, and they had guys on the road that helped them build all the stuff at their warehouse back in Virginia that were on the road with them. And obviously, the biggest thing I guess I could complain about was the smell of them costumes.
Oh, I bet.
And
I bet.
It started to become a joke. If you wanted to know where the dressing room, everybody would just go where's the dressing room? And then everybody would stop and go,
follow your nose.
Okay, I know where the dressing room is now. Because let me just tell you, that shit stinks. Now, if you want to smell some straight up days and days of fucking ass crack and ball sack, you know what I mean? Sweat from the taint. You know what I mean? Those loincloths and shit. Oh my God.
It's all cooked in there.
Now, let's
fake blood. Oh my God, it smelled horrendous. I would not even it got to the point where playing shows, we would do signings, people want me to sign stuff, and they'd be covered in that guar blood. I was like, no, we're not gonna shake hands. We're gonna just get elbow bumps. Boom, elbow bump. You know what I mean? Keep that grime up off of me, dude. I can't roll like that. Like I'm not into it like that.
Now let's kick it over to your own projects. Now it doesn't have to be God forbid, but what would you say is your favorite album that you've been a part of? What album are you most proud of that you have released?
I mean, that's kind of hard to say. I mean, I was proud of every album for different reasons. I'd say probably like one of my favorite 2 albums, I'd have to narrow it to 2 to record, was probably Constitution of Treason and Earth's Blood. Oh. I mean, they were extremely like temperamental, and there was a lot of tension going on. But looking back, I feel like those were some of the greatest times that we had writing-wise, and in a lot of different ways. Kind of expanding and just everybody getting so much better so quickly. Those are probably the 2 albums where it's like, man, you start to realize how good the guys are around you that you're playing with, and it's like, wow, it's kind of crazy what these dudes are capable of and what we're capable of together as a group. So I mean, those 2 albums, and I mean there was a lot of tension going on, which was good and bad.
Yeah, I remember picking up Determination, and then I finally linked up with Corey and them through a mutual friend named Rick. So, but the cool.
I just talked to him yesterday, actually.
Yeah, he's out there in the Midwest now. He's not.
Yeah, he's in Indiana.
Yeah, it's like it's nowhere near civilization, it seems. But
that's what he needs. That's what he needs, though.
You used to take him out on tours and things, but the transition into a question that people might want to know: what was one tour that sticks in your mind the most as the most iconic to you?
I'd say probably there's 2 that I would say kind of like are always going to stand out, because it was just not only the historical nature of them, but just the sheer amount of people, or was 2004 Ozfest, because first of all, the lineup was so ridiculously packed.
Oh yeah, that was when Ozfest ruled the world.
It was like just that year was like so the second stage was it was OTEP, Darkest Hour, Atreyu, Devil Driver, us, Lamb of God, Hate Breed, and Slipknot. And there was one other band.
Wasn't The Haunted on that?
Bleeding Through was also on that. Was also on the second stage. So that was just the second stage. And then the main stage was Laguna Coil, Dimmu Borgir, Superjoint Ritual, Judas Priest, Slayer. The first year Dave Lombardo came back.
Nice.
And then obviously, Ozzy.
Yeah, of course. Was Sabbath on the tour as well at that time, or no?
I'm trying to remember. I think yes, actually they were, because Bill Ward was still playing.
Okay, so that's cool. But I mean, we probably got about another 2 minutes. I know you got to do another interview for radio. So before we get out of here, you got anything going on? You want to get a plug in on?
I got a bunch of stuff going on. I'm doing this thing called The Hub in New Jersey, which is it's a combination of things. It's basically my efforts to kind of reconnect the underground community, in where I'm working with pretty much all unsigned bands. We do rehearsal stuff here. We do pre-production stuff here. I'm talking to like photographers. I talk to guys from the Old Bridge Metal Militia, guys that book local shows, guys that do unsigned band management. And kind of connecting all these people together through different events, and working with different bands, and getting different photo shoots set up for different people, and just generally trying to bond everybody together And it's like I said, about a whole GoFundMe because I'm starting to run out of cash, if you can believe that.
I hear that.
I know a lot of people like, man, God forbid was big. Where's all that God forbid money? We generated a lot of money.
I didn't know
That's different than actually having it. We made a lot of money for other people, but so I set up like a GoFundMe, but I've been like started painting and doing more carpeting, and like I started ordering more soundproofing and like talking to friends that have in the industry in different fields of audio and stuff. I'm gonna start getting some more gear in here, but it's just basically a place where bands can come rehearse here. They can do pre-production with me, and like I don't rip anybody off. I try to be as cheap as I possibly can, because I know how it is when you're not, like you're in an unsigned band and you want to try to move forward. And then I also help those bands. Like I ship stuff out to like guys that I know at labels, and I know, obviously some of the biggest booking agents and things of that nature in this business, let alone endorsement companies, anywhere from, ESP to D-Drum to Tama to Pacey to Pearl. I know a lot of people. I've been in this business, the better part of 20 years, and I'm friendly with most people. For some reason, a lot of people like me. I don't know why that is, but
I can say from personal experience, it's because of the character. You're never it's never a dull moment, and that's why I
have heard that. I've heard that I'm a character.
Most of the people that I apparently associate with are distinct characters.
Well, all right. I mean, we're running out of time here, Corey, so we'll let you go. Thanks for hanging out with us. You think maybe we'll check in with you if the Redskins can repeat. So what do you think before you get out of here, Corey? You think the Redskins can repeat as division winners?
I don't want to jinx that shit, man, because let's be real. Last year, the NFC East was so up that really anybody could have won the NFC East. There was no way to know. That was like it was like Battle of the you know what I mean? Like who's going to be the least, and then you win the NFC East. This year, I think that it's going to be a little bit different, but it's usually chaotic in the NFC East. I think anybody that's a fan of any team in the NFC East, you know what it is.
It's a roller coaster.
You don't know what's going to happen from one week to the next. Let's I know you're a Giants fan, and let's talk about Eli. A lot of people like to shit on Eli. I don't. I think that Eli is a great fucking quarterback. The problem is his brother is so freaking good.
Absolutely.
And probably the best offensive coordinator in football, I would say. So it makes him, I think, pull the trigger on a lot of things because he always feels like he's got more to prove. And let's just talk about his thread the needle skills. A lot of times it works, and then he goes for those things that any other quarterback would not. They would not do that. He wouldn't do it. Like any other quarterback would not try for some of those plays that he tries for. But you know what? I give him mad respect for not giving respect to other motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
He's a gunslinger.
Mad respect for not giving respect. Plus, I just think he's a good quarterback. But he's also a dude where it's like he seems emotionless half the time. Where it's like they'll be losing 3 or 4 games in a row. Then they'll win one game, and he'll make this goofy smile like he remembers what it's like to win. And then he's like, oh, this is what we do to win, and then they go on like a 6-7 game winning tirade, and you're like, "What the just happened? What just happened?" Eli Manning, fucking Forrest Gump, fucking Rain Man, whatever you want to call that motherfucker. That's where he's at with it, and it's so crazy. You're just like, "What the hell just happened?" I thought we were gonna win in the NFC East, and then Forrest Gump turned it on. What the hell? But you know how it is.
He lights it up in December, carries it through into January.
Oh, dude, when that was late in the season for some reason. And the other thing is, last year they started, they got into the hurry up offense, and I felt like he got more accustomed to it as the season went on. But he wasn't fully in it. Like Peyton was full. He's the master of that shit. But it's also because, like I said, he sees defenses develop so quick. Like he knows the answer before the defense even knows the answer. So it's kind of like, it's unfair almost. Like if he hadn't got injured, think about he dominated injured. That's embarrassing. He's old and he got injured and he's still whooping your ass.
Yeah.
That's hurtful.
That's pedigree.
And it's demoralizing. You know what I'm saying? Like if Eli got let's say 15 to 20% more of that offensive coordinator sort of mentality, which I don't think he's looking for or is even trying to achieve. That's not what he's about. He's just out there to do, be a part of it, and that's that. Peyton's like,
I'm not going to agree with you on that part. Eli is a
well, he's not. I'm saying that he's not a run the show type of person like Peyton's a run the show type of person. Like he's trying to run the fucking team. You know what I mean? Like Eli ain't running the team.
Well,
you know what I mean?
When you listen in though, Eli is a student of the game from what it seems. He's just not the rah guy.
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying that he's not running the team. Like when Peyton goes to he left the Colts and went to Denver, he's not just running the offense.
Yeah, they took the playbook with
and when you got a head coach coming over to you discussing things in between, in between plays, in between defensive plays, you're running the team.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening to Eli. Eli, sometimes he's on the bench drinking Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? Payne's not doing that. He's talking to the coordinators upstairs in the booth like, listen, bitch, this is Payne. You better get with the program. I'm just saying. But the NFC East, let's be real. Barring the Eagles, which I think are just always crap. I don't care how many players they got that are good during any season. As far as I'm concerned, they're always crap because Philadelphia is crap and the city is crap and the teams are crap.
I'll agree to that.
So the Eagles are crap all the time. They don't ever deserve to win the NFC. They don't ever deserve to win. Period. As far as I'm concerned.
The highlight of your city is a cheesesteak and Ben Franklin. You might be a loser.
You guys are making some enemies today.
The historical
loss for me going to Philly.
The historical nature of the city is far outweighed by its capacity for grimy human beings, grimy behavior, and even worse, sports fans.
I wish Colin was on here right now. Colin's in Philadelphia, lives in Philadelphia, one of the co-hosts.
Hey, man. I'm just keeping it real. Like they used to say in 99, you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it real.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
It goes all the way wrong in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Grimy ass place.
All right, Corey, man, but we're going to have to let you go. We're running out of time. We had a great time. Thanks for hanging out with us, talking some Redskins, talking some touring. We'll catch up with you later, man. Thanks.
Sure, man. I'll check back in here and there, man, and see if I can cause some havoc.
Also, where can everybody find out where to donate to the hub?
You can go on my Facebook page. There's several posts with the GoFundMe link on it. I'm always posting more stuff about it. And even if you don't want to donate money, if you want to find a way to dedicate your time to the scene or try to help, I help people out and direct them all different ways. And on other people helping out Old Bridge Metal Militia, they're always doing stuff for the scene and helping out young bands and even connecting fans and stuff like that. And but the easiest way to just you can find me on Facebook, Corey Pierce. I'm really easy to find. Instagram and Twitter, I'm just Core Forbid, equally easy to find. I'm not a hard guy to find. So anything you want to find, or you want to donate, or you want to donate time, or just get involved in some way, just hit me up. I talk to everybody. So
and we'll also
it's not
share
like I'm
the
like,
link.
hey.
We'll
share absolutely.
So
go to facebook.com/VOBpod, and you can find Corey's GoFundMe link after the recording of the show. All right, everybody, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for hanging out with us over the course of the last hour. We had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Thanks a lot to Corey Pierce, drummer of God Forbid, coming on, hanging out with us, talking some Redskins football, talking some Guar. Remember to check out the Hub. Remember to hit them up on Facebook and Twitter. Donate. It's a great thing for independent musicians to be a part of. And you know us over here at Voice of Bedlam. We love everything DIY. Hope you guys are excited about preseason kicking off. Giants play tomorrow night. Going out to South.
Panthers are playing right now.
All right, so we're going to get out of here and catch the ending of these games. Remember, go to podbean.com/r/Bedlam for a free month of Podbean hosting. All right, guys, for John, Corey Pierce on the phone, I'm Andrew Bedlam, and we're getting the hell out of here.
I walk in my day. I come